we doing, everybody? DommyGun, Rici here. Who-Bangin Sports. We're back on a Saturday for Light It Up. I was looking back over when I started. I said last week was 6 weeks, but we started the show on a Saturday. So this is the start of the 8th week. So this is 8 weeks straight, which is why I mentioned this, because I don't think I've ever been that consistent yet in all these years. So I'm proud of myself. But anyhow, we're going strong every Saturday and Thursday, and we're going to keep it up throughout the season. We'll be back next week at 10 o'clock. I just made today 11 o'clock because I was out late last night. I went to a festival, a concert, and I figured I'd give myself an extra hour. But I'll be back at 10 o'clock next week, and we'll keep that right through the regular season. Once the playoffs start, then things get, who knows what's going to happen. But until the regular season, Light It Up, 10 a.m. Saturdays, and 10 a.m. Thursday morning. So that's cool. Okay, let's get started with some Major League Baseball. Let me bring in my friend, my guest, my brother, Big Ragu 62. How are
What's
you, Doc?
happening, Dommy? So
Thanks
how
for
was the
coming in.
festival last night?
Thanks for coming in. I didn't want to pressure you this morning, but
Oh, no pressure. I'm here whenever you
I don't want.
If
I
I'm
don't.
available, I'm with you, brother.
I
No
hear you.
problem.
I was like, if you can make it, come in. And I'm saying to myself, I hope he comes. I hope he comes. I hope he.
Yeah, I
No,
would have
it was
kept the
good.
part along with you this morning, as you pick the games out. Then I got a few little spot plays that I got in mind already, but we'll see if something
Yeah.
pops up, and then if not, oh well, we'll keep going.
Yep. No, I hear you. I hear you. Same with me. Yeah, we had a good time. We went last night. It's a 4-day festival they do every year out here in Long Island, the Great South Bay Music Festival. 4 days, 4 different type of acts and stuff. Yesterday we went to more of my girls type of bands. I only knew one of the bands. Man, it's all those freaking like Sublime type bands. Like one of the bands was called Badfish. They're really basically the guys from Sublime. I know the main guy died years ago, but they were pretty
Yeah,
good. Another band called Cliff Diver from Oklahoma, who like opened up the show. Hardly anybody was there at that point. They were really good, but they're the guys trying the hardest, right?
sure.
So, and then a band called Goldfinger that I've known for a long time, never seen. They've been around since the late '90s, like an LA punky ska type band. Anyhow, we had a good time. And then the headliner was a band that I didn't even think that was that good, Dirty Heads, but it was cool. But we're going back tomorrow night for more of my kind of music.
There you go.
Jason Bottoms, Led Zeppelin, Warren Haynes doing, who was the Allman Brothers guitar player, doing
Yeah,
the whole album, Dark Side of the Moon. So that's more of
good
my
stuff
stuff.
there.
Yeah. That'll be good. Dickie Betts' son is playing, Dwayne Betts, who I've seen before. Anyhow, so we're doing a 2-day festival this week. And yes, I took off of work Monday already. Anyhow, MLB playoffs. All-Star game is gone, Doc. Second half of the year.
Yep.
Now we're really getting down to crunch time. We're seeing a couple teams coming out of the gate a little slow that we expect to be good in the second half because they were good in the first half. And I mentioned it Thursday. Don't write these teams off yet. It's only one. Like the Reds lost the first couple games, everybody starts getting,
Yeah,
nervous. We talked about, me and you talked about it when we were with Connor and Razor. We talked about the Diamondbacks and the Guardians, those type of teams. So, the Diamondbacks came out a little slow too, but I still haven't given up on that team. A lot of these teams do need some pitching, but we'll see what happens. We got another week. What's today? Today's the 22nd. The deadline's
yep.
August 1st. So I'm expecting some moves to happen in a couple different spots. We'll see what happens. The rumor mill, of course, is going crazy. Of course, everybody's talking about Otani, of course. But we'll see what happens. A couple of
Yeah,
these teams need to make some adjustments, that's for sure. But going forward, it's going to be, like I said, like we said when we talked on that show, there's no real dominant team. I mean, the Braves were and are still,
yeah.
but they're
Very
fallible.
consistent.
They're fallible. They got a couple. Their pitching staff isn't the greatest. So we will see what happens. But as far as today's games are concerned, I got plays on 1, 2, 3, 4 games, um, and that's what I got. But starting out, I don't know if you have anything on these first couple of games, but that first game out of the gate is the Kansas City and the Yankees.
Yeah,
Cole's pitching against Singer. Cole is Cole. We could talk about Cole all day long. The
sure.
Yankees really haven't been backing him up so much. They don't really back him up that much. Kind of reminds me of DeGrom with the Mets, how they really didn't back his
It's always been that way.
performance.
Certain pitchers, they don't give
It's
them the support.
unbelievable. But Cole still is pitching great. His last game he was in Coors, and he had 6 innings, 1 earned runs, 11 strikeouts in Coors.
Yeah,
So there
yeah,
you go. I think today though, I mean, I was trying to figure out a way to play them today. Maybe their team total over, maybe
yeah.
the run line. I already got one run line bet in today. I hardly bet run line, so I would like to attack this Yankee team. I mean, Singer, 13 innings, 20 hits, 10 earned runs,
Yeah.
2 homers in his last 2 outings. One was against the Rays, one was against the Guardians. He has almost an 8 ERA on the road, 7.54. So I would think the Yankees should get to Singer and get to
Yeah, Singer's
KCP.
had. I think he's had 2 quality wins against the Dodgers and
Yeah.
the Rays, and then he had that middle game. But he's one of those guys where he's not a bad. He's a decent pitcher, but I'm not gonna say he alternate wins, losses, that type of thing. But we gotta bet what we know here, and how do we play into the strengths of what we know with Cole. Everything's going to be elevated on the number side of things.
Right.
But I was snooping around and looking at different. I'm not a big prop guy, but I will bet some pitcher props, and this is almost kind of a pitcher prop here. Cole's success against the Royals have been pretty good early on. I mean, he's been averaging, 6 innings roughly, and his strikeout to K prop is pretty decent, but his numbers like off the charts today. It's like with that 8-11 last versus the Rockies, I think he's averaged around 7 Ks versus the Royals, and his K prop is set pretty high at like 8.5. So I don't want no part of that. But what I did look into was like some of the early innings on these two pitchers versus the prospective teams. Now I know the Yankee lineup isn't as strong as it's been of late, but I know Cole's been strong. So there's a prop bet on FanDuel, I believe, or DraftKings. First earned run. Singer's like minus 115 and Cole's minus 105. So I think that's I think that's a safe bet for the Yankees. I think Singer's going to give up the first earned run.
I don't think I've ever seen that prop.
Yeah, it's something I found today. I was like, how do I bet this game? Not that because every time I put my money on the Yankees, I lose more times than I win. That's just the way it is for me with the Yanks. But be honest with you, but I think that's a pretty good play. The Yankees don't have to win or lose a game; they just don't have to give up the first earned run. So that's a play I'm going to be on. I'm going to be on Singer to give up the first earned run at minus 115.
I like that bet. That's a pretty good bet. Very interesting bet. I like how some of these books have different type of bets.
Yeah, I mean,
see on other books.
I looked at that one. I put more thought in that game than most of the games I did because it was the first one, and I knew we'd be talking about it early too. So, and like I said, the Yankees, they've been rough. They've lost like 7 out of the last 10 games. They've lost like I think 5 out of the last 6 series too. So they've been they've been struggling.
They have issues, man. They got to do something. They definitely have issues. Their pen is slipping. They just don't hit the ball. I know they had a couple of games where they did finally, actually score some runs because they were such an under team in the first half.
Yeah,
but
and look at the under today too, right? The under, it's a low total.
It's a low total. I almost think too. I think the Yankees smashed this team today. This could be one of those days where the Yankees score those 5.
Yeah, they can jump up and do
runs.
it. You can't. They can't be bad for. I mean, they can be bad for a good portion, but there's talent up and down the lineup, so they could. They're capable of putting runs up. I mean, with Brady's higher ERA, and like I said, he had a great outing the last out, and then I think he comes back to where he needs to be here. So I think the Yankees should probably get the win, but I don't want to lay the heavy juice with them.
Right.
Maybe the run line, like you said too, but. What is the run line on that game, Dom?
Yeah, I was just going to go look at that. Um, let's see. I don't have it right
Let
here.
me see.
I don't have it listed right here. I don't have my. I had something
It's
else open.
it's minus one,
Uh,
about minus 113
Forget it.
around that area.
I'm not taking a run line that's not plus. First of
Yeah,
all,
that's true. And plus they're at home, so you lose the extra at bat.
if it's even money, maybe minus
Yeah.
105.
Yeah,
I
you
think
like
take.
me when it
Yeah,
comes to the run line. I don't like laying.
no,
I
I don't
like
even
having a
like taking
positive
them
number.
mostly, but I don't like taking that that negative number,
Yeah,
whatever
that's
the
what
hell that
scared me
is.
off because they're struggling too with the bats
Yeah,
a little bit too.
yep. That's a good look. The Yankees, what are they at home? 22 overs, 28 unders to the year so far,
Yeah,
which was a lot worse. The Yankees were on top of the board for a long time as unders. They were in the top two or three. Now, of course, the Mets are the worst or the best under teams right now. However you want to, however you want to. It's the Mets, then the Guardians, then the Blue Jays, then the Diamondbacks, then the Phillies. Those are the top five under teams right now. Interesting. Anyhow, next game is Colorado Miami. Another game that Seabold's pitching for Colorado. I wasn't sure who was pitching for Miami. Oh, Cueto, right?
Cueto's up.
Yeah, Cueto pitched. His. He's new for the team. It was his third start, maybe for Miami. I know he
No,
struggled his
I
first
think it's
start out.
second.
No, I think he had two already because I know
Did
he
you have two?
struggled.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
his first outing was terrible. Then he had a second one with three with only he only had only a few hits against him.
Yeah.
He struck out a few guys, no earned runs. I think he only pitched a few innings though in that game. They probably had him on a pitch count maybe.
Yeah.
Miami's pen is better. I like Miami. I still like Miami. They need another arm. I think for them to make a
Yeah.
push
Well,
in this
He's
East.
up because of the IL with what's his name?
Yeah,
The Perez.
Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I left that game alone. But if I had to make a pick, I would lean Miami. That's for sure. But I had to
Yeah.
leave that alone.
I lean runs here. I think there's going to be runs in this game.
Right.
With Cueto and I think he'll give up some runs here. He hasn't looked sharp. He's like you say he's in that. I think they'll probably wind up working him back in middle relief when Perez comes back, and I think that's all part of the scheme for them to
Yeah.
kind of just get
Yeah.
him some starts and get him some innings, work that type of thing. But in the meantime, he's filling in for Perez. So and I think runs have come from both sides here. Colorado,
Such a weird team,
they've
right?
been hitting a lot better of late.
Yeah.
There's one of them teams that's swinging decent bats right now, and I think they can hold them down. I mean, not hold them down. I think there'll be runs on both sides of the plate here for both of these teams. So I like the over here. I think they can get to them.
Yeah. I think the 8 might be a little sharp.
I mean, I know the Marlins, they don't score a ton of runs. That's the thing,
No, and they win a lot of one-run ball games.
Yeah.
they,
So
they hit a lot of
maybe,
singles. They're not power hitters, They hit a lot of
no.
singles, things like that. I don't know
They're
if
a
they
lot better at home, and they usually hit righties at home pretty decent. And on their splits, their home numbers are a lot better than on the road too. So I'm not going to probably bet it, but I would lean to the over here. I think it's sitting at 9 right now, which it's probably where it needs to be. I know it moved off 8 early, open up at 8 up to 9, so you catch the tail end of that one a little bit, but I don't know. It's just a lean for me on the over in that
Where the
game.
hell is Colorado here? Rockies. Oh, Rockies +8. I've been looking at this stat lately. Defensive runs saved. So basically teams that are stranding a lot of guys are teams that are letting the opposing team, leaving a lot of men on base. But there was no. Actually, the Rockies have a better number than the Marlins as opposed to that. Marlins were dead even. Like there was actually a 0, and they got the Rockies listed as a +8 defensive run saved. To give you an idea of some of the teams, like the best team in the league is Blue Jays. So they got, according to these stats, they have saved 47 runs, in the season so far with their defense leaving the opposing team.
So what is that like?
Bases?
Like runners left on base type.
Yeah,
of,
like runners left on base, defensive run saved, right? So
Yeah,
when it's a pretty good stat, and it kind of bodes well with the top teams. The Blue Jays were at plus 47. The Rangers plus 34. Then the Brewers plus 33. Then the
Yeah.
Rays plus 26. So it's, it means a lot because that's the reason why some teams are winning. Like the Twins, they're at a plus 26, but they're a team that strikes out a lot, and they're a team that, like their WRC plus is about dead even for the league. So, that makes up a lot of difference sometimes with some of these teams. But anyhow, I thought that's an interesting stat that I've been looking at just lately, just to try to compare something else. Next game up is St. Louis Cubs. I've been riding St. Louis. I've been betting their team totals. I lost yesterday. I had the team total over 3.5, and they only scored 3 runs yesterday. But they've been hitting the ball. I even mentioned it in June when they were in their big losing streak that they were losing, but they were losing big, And but today I didn't see who. Oh yeah, Fulmer's starting for the Cubs, so that's probably like a pen game. I think he's just like an opener. I think they're gonna be it's gonna be a pen game for the Cubs with him starting. And Michaelis, believe it or not, has been pitching better. It's last couple July, 22 in the third innings, 2.82 ERA, 3 earned runs combined in his last 3 starts. So he's only left 3 earned in his last 3 total. So he has been pitching good. Something about St. Louis, I don't know. I just like them for some reason. I just think they're going to be that type of spoiler team. I mean,
you might find value on a team like that
Yeah.
that's been like playing bad and coming out of the break.
Yep.
With, and you got like you said, Mikolas is throwing better now, so you might find. I mean, they're favored obviously in the spot. But
yeah, I mean the Cubs pen is a little bit better. The Cubs pen actually has improved in the last 30 days. I mean, I don't know. I'm not betting this game, but I kind of like St. Louis today. They were just I didn't want to take too many games today. But St. Louis is a team that I had an eye on. I know I talked to you last week about them with overs and stuff, and but
yeah,
they're
you
terrible.
did mention that. We talked in the chats about watch their overs and
right, but they're terrible in other areas. What was there against lefties? They were against lefties? I believe they were the second worst strikeout team the last 30 days. They struck out the most. Oh yeah, it was the Pirates. And I have that stat written down for that game later. It was the Pirates are the worst, and then the Cardinals are the second worst strikeouts against lefties. Pretty much all season, but the last 30 days they've been getting lefties been striking them out left and right. But so with the Cubs, I don't know who they're going to pitch. I don't know.
They
how
got
long
Fulmer.
Gonna, yeah, I think he's just going to. I think he's like kind of an opener, like they're going to do like the Rays. The Rays type of thing. The way the Rays invented playing ball a couple of years ago, the Giants have been doing those bullpen games.
Yeah.
Chicago, a lot of teams are starting to do that.
So did they say who's going to come behind them and get the majority of innings?
I didn't get that far into it because I wasn't betting the game, so I really didn't look at their thing. Good morning, guys. Fo Patashi, Tori Coca. Good morning, guys. Thanks for stopping in. Next game up, I do have a play on. That's the Dodgers in Texas. Do you have a play on that game? Do you have any plays on that?
Yeah, I was believe it or not, I was leading the first 5 under in that spot. Even though these guys, I know Miller's got a higher ERA, but I
like
think
Miller.
I don't think the Dodgers have been the Dodgers of old. They kind of jumped up in first place like we kind of thought they would, and they'll be around at the end of the season. But I think Dunning's a good pitcher here, so I think he could hold the Dodgers lineup in check, and I think Miller is pretty decent. I know the Rangers are dangerous, but like you said, they're one of those teams that kind of jumped out a little slow also. So I think I kind of lean first 5 under in this spot.
I found a few things, and I like Dunning a lot, but I found a few things that it looks like he might be having might be hitting a little rough patch going forward. Both these teams versus righties all year long have been hitting the ball. Even like we said, the Dodgers haven't been the Dodgers of old, but they've been getting back to it. And the Rangers had a really strong start, and then they kind of fell off, and a little bit. But we expected that. And I guess lately they've been playing kind of 500 ball maybe the last few weeks, but I still like them. I think they're gonna have to do something. They're gonna need.
Yeah, they're a top third team still. OPS versus righties the last couple weeks. So
yeah, and a 122 WRC plus for the team, which is pretty good. 58-40 is their record. So, I mean, they've been playing well. But what I wrote down was, and Miller's a guy that I think is getting better and better. He's on the road. He's been pitching well. His last 3 on the road: 3-0, 2.11 ERA, 2 homers in his last 3 starts total, which was hit. That was what his problem was at the beginning of the year. He was giving up a lot of home runs. So that's been getting better. I watched his last game that he pitched was versus the Mets. That's a reason why I watched it. 4 2/3 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. I like him, man. I like Miller a lot. The one thing about Dunning. Oh yeah, there was another thing about Miller. The thing about let's go to Dunning. He isn't striking out the guys that he was.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The same thing. He's not a big
Yeah.
strikeout guy. He's a low percentage strikeout.
This is the lowest strikeout percentage of his year. 5.7 Ks, 5.7% per 9, which is the lowest of his career. He does still pitch deep, but his advanced numbers, like his ERA is 2.82, but his xERA going forward is almost 2 points higher, 4.72. He's given up homers in his last 3 or 4 starts. I don't know if this is a great spot for Texas. I like the Dodgers on the road here. Like I said, versus righties, the Dodgers are number 2 in team OPS and isolated power the last 30 days. But Texas is number 5. So that a lot of times what you might think an over is going to happen that way because they could both hit righties, but a lot of times that cancels out each other.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
I agree with you with that. Yeah, 100%.
Only in this particular spot. Normally it's like
And just to add to that versus righties number, that the Dodgers being number 2 the last 30 days. Well, number 1 is the Braves still in OPS and ISO. I think they've been number 1 for months at this point.
Yeah, they've been number 1 lefties and righties, but I think the last couple of weeks, I think they kind of split out that number 1 position on the lefty side.
People get all crazy when they lose a few games. I mean, these teams, they're going to lose here and there. They're going to go have little
the Nationals right now, and the O's are top.
So there you go there. Next game up on that saying I took the Dodgers minus 123. The line is rising. Last I looked, it was 125. I took the Dodgers money line minus 123. And you took the under in the first 5?
Yeah, first 5 under.
4.5?
4.5, yeah.
Cool. Good.
That's even money.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, next game up. Tough game. Well, because Arizona against Cincinnati, there was no pitcher listed for Arizona, so I had to lay off it. This kid Williamson for Cincinnati is pretty good. He's pitched well. He's a pretty good pitcher, but I really didn't jump into this game because there was no pitcher. I don't have a pitcher listed for Arizona. I don't know if you have one yet listed, but what I'm looking at right now.
Who's that for the Arizona side?
Yeah.
Let me see who they got up here. Yeah, no, I didn't see one either. So I passed on this game till I don't cap the game till I see pictures, obviously.
Yep. A tough matchup. These are the 2 teams that we had out. We talked about that we're gonna have our eye on.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks and the Reds. These are the teams. Do they have the pitching to go all the way? Do they have those? Are they gonna make any kind of moves? Are they gonna try to buy? It's interesting. We'll see what happens. Next game up, it's another game that I didn't. This is a tough matchup, man. And I think the line is way off. If anything, I might go with Baltimore because the line is rising too much to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Grayson Rodriguez against Shane McClanahan. That's why the line is rising. But as far as a dog, you can't go wrong taking Baltimore as a dog lately. And Baltimore's been playing lights out, man. They've been playing well. They're playing well against their division. Look where they are. Look who's on top of the division. Look who's on the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to lean one way, I don't know. I would definitely.
The Rays have got 2 more wins, but Baltimore's got 2 less losses. So right now they got Baltimore up top.
Tough matchup. You don't have anything on this game, right?
No, not currently
I
at
mean,
all.
McClanahan strikes out a ton of batters, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't take a strikeout pop against the AL East. I got something for us. I updated those numbers with the AL East. First of all, as far as divisions, I found these stats with divisions, and we talked about the AL East
Yeah,
beating all
they
the
were
teams
hot.
outside their division, and they've
That's
been doing
dropping
it
now,
all
isn't
year
it?
long. Yeah, they're still up there. But as far as run differential, the AL East as a whole, plus 301 run differential. The AL East plus 301 run differential.
Yeah, it's
AL
up there.
Central plus 50. AL West plus 35. Then the NL all minus. NL East minus 94 run differential as a whole. NL Central minus 9. Now here's the kicker. NL West a 430 win percentage, only 430 as a whole, a minus 283 run
Wow.
differential. I mean, Oakland has a lot of that. Oakland has a lot to do with that number. But
Yeah.
can you? Those are
Yeah,
some
they got over
interesting
half of
numbers.
it.
I thought that was some interesting numbers when it came to that. And there was something else about the AL East. AL East versus I updated this yesterday, so it didn't count. I guess it didn't count yesterday's games, but regardless, AL East versus non-AL teams. 156 and 81 plus 66% with a 7% return on investment if you bet every 100 and whatever 137 I mean 237 games. If you took the AL East at all 287 games, you'd be up 7% ROA. But it just shows you that the AL East is dominating the rest of the league. It's amazing. It's pretty. I thought that was pretty interesting, you know. But as far as this game is concerned, I didn't take nothing in Baltimore, Tampa Bay. A game I'm on the fence on is the next one, and that's Toronto, Seattle. I like Logan Gilbert. Seattle's getting money. I kind of like Seattle.
I like that.
Gosman, he's pitching well. He is on the road. How are they doing on the road?
What's the story with Gausman off of did he have like a little I noticed he hasn't started in 2 weeks. Was he on the IL short term?
Let's go to this print sheet and see.
Yeah, I think his last start was like 13 days ago. Or
13 days rest. Yeah, 13 days rest.
They were just giving him extra rest, is what it was.
I don't really know, but now you got to count in the All-Star break with that. Maybe they gave him maybe they didn't start him that last start. It's something we should look into.
That's what it looks like.
It looks like they gave him that rest, give him that extra rest. He wasn't going to the All-Star. He wasn't pitching the All-Star game, so give him the rest. Let him, I could see that. But yes, 13 days, and he's the longest rest out of any pitcher today.
Yeah, so he's well rested.
Yep.
And he's been a beast.
3 games. Last 3, 0-2's last 3, 17 innings pitched total, which is good for 3 games. 2.85 ERA, a sturdy 1 whip, 26 Ks, no home runs. Gilbert's last 3, 3-0, 21 innings pitched, so he's gone deep every game. I don't think he had a complete game in there, but 21 innings pitched, 1.29 ERA, 0.76 whip, 18 Ks, 1 homers. Tough matchup, but Seattle getting money. I kind of like Seattle.
I think there's value there to that play.
Yeah, I would think so
as
too.
As good as Logan, like you say, he's probably their guy. He's their workhorse, and Gausman. He's been good for them, but I think maybe I'm gonna say coming off that longer rest helps or deters a little bit. Because I know sometimes when these pitchers get in a groove or they're struggling a little bit, sometimes they kind of regroup with the little bit of I wouldn't even call it rehab. They send them down to throw a game or 2 here, then they bring them back up. It's like Jimmy used to say, but he's not a young pitcher. These younger guys, when they get sent down, they get that taste and they want to come back up. But it's not like he sent them down for any particular reason. I think it was just like get him, reset. Maybe had a couple struggles before the break, and then they say, we're just going to let you have an extra week off and kind of get your shit together. Type of thing. So he might be ready to go, and who knows? That's why I usually play off a guy. when they come back from a short-term IL, like a 10-day,
Yeah.
14-day, 15-day, something like that. So this is a spot I'm all for Seattle here. I'm not looking into that as an injury, but I'm just looking at it, hey, coming back from a little extra rest, and then, we'll see how he comes out to start. And I think the value is on Seattle here. I haven't made it official, but I like Seattle in the spot.
Yeah, me too. July 8th was his last start at Detroit. He lost 2-0.
Yeah.
Pitched 6 innings, 7 strikeouts. But yeah, that's the last.
It's not terrible. I mean,
No, that's not. No, that's not terrible at all.
Yeah.
Then before that, he beat the July 2nd. He beat Boston at home. So, but then anyhow, yeah, July 8th was the last time he pitched. So we'll see what happens with that game. Now, I'm on the fence with that. I want to see where the line goes. The line was going towards Toronto. I don't know if it switched now. We'll check that out. Next game up, San Diego, Detroit. I don't know what San Diego's doing. San Diego fans must be as frustrated as us Met fans because Jesus, and I know I mentioned it a lot that they're mirror images, but they just are. They're just so underachieving teams. They got the bats, they got the names, they got everything, but the but the wins. So I don't know. And San Diego didn't have a pitcher listed. Matt Manning is pitching for Detroit. A guy I like. But I have no play on this. I don't even have a line on it, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
Padres are a very confusing team. What are they going to do in the next few weeks? All those big names and all those big contracts, and they took on more contracts from all the national guys they took. Now they're talking about maybe Soto's going to go somewhere else.
Already?
Yeah. Actually, the Yankees, they've been talking, the nonsense on sports radio, they've been talking about that the Yankees could really use a Soto more than an Ohtani because of they could use the fielder. That right field porch is like same. That's why I always wanted Soto to come to the Mets, too. That right field porch is like a fucking bang out for him, man. When he comes into City Field, Soto, especially when he was a national, that right
he
field
played there
porch
quite
was
a
his
few
home,
times.
man. That porch was his home.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know what the hell the Padres are up to. I can't figure that out. Razor Sharp picks. Can you figure out the San Diego Padres for us? Because we sure can't. That's a weird team, but I'm not on them. The next game up is San Francisco Nationals. I'm not on that. Logan Webb against Joshua Gray. I did see something. The Nationals, I think, still have a decent. Nationals, I think, are still a decent run line team for some reason. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I like the Nats. They
Which I
are.
was surprised about, but
You're talking about the the lack of production on the runs. The negative runs over there. But when you get these spot plays with the Nats, and not so much the Phillies, but maybe the Mets of late, but the Braves, they, like you said, they're cruising along. And same thing with the Marlins. They have trouble putting plus numbers up, on their side of the ball. But the Nats of late, they've been hitting the ball pretty well, especially against lefties. They're number one in the league right now. So keep that in mind going forward.
wow. The Nats, not at home, though, but on the road, number 2 against the run line in baseball. The Orioles are number 1. You'd be
Still.
up 34-13 to the run line is
Wow.
on the road is Baltimore. And the
Yeah.
Nationals are right behind them, 32-17.
The Baltimore have been number 1 overall in the major league the past 2 seasons run line.
Let's see what they
So
are.
there's going to be spots, like I said, if you do it, you got to do it all year long on the run line scenario because there's so with the odds, and the plus and minus numbers, they'll eat you alive. So you just got to have like a certain percentage of bankroll. If you're a run line type of guy and you pick a team like that, you got to back them all year long. You just can't get in and out with them because you'll get hurt.
Overall, right. I understand what you're saying. Overall, for the run line right now, as far as units won, based on units won, not on record, because they're a little bit records,
Yeah.
The Reds are top team, 22.65 units. You'd be up with the Reds. Rangers are number 2, almost 21 units. Then Baltimore's number 3 with almost 16 units.
Yeah, Rangers were hot because they had that big run differential. They were leading the league, them and the Rays for
Reds, Rangers, Orioles, Dodgers, Diamondbacks One, two, three, four. Reds, Rangers, Orioles, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. Top 5 run line teams so far this year. And at home, it was Rangers, Reds, Rays, Dodgers, Giants. As far as the home and away, like we said, Rangers, Reds, Rays, Dodgers, Giants, D-backs. Wow. So there you go. There you go. You never know. A team like the Nationals, and you'd be ahead. You have a big profit if you were banging them on that run line. So
Right.
interesting. Next game up, another confusing game. New York Mets against Boston Red Sox.
That's all you, buddy. Let's hear what you got to
Scherzer
say.
against Paxton, man. Scherzer's numbers haven't. He's been pitching better and better, but he hasn't pitched great on the road. And today's gonna get fucked up because
What's going on with that scheduling today?
they're completing the game from yesterday. The game got suspended in the 5th inning. So at 2:00 or 2:30, they're gonna complete the second game, and then they're gonna start they're gonna complete last night's game. So who knows what happens with that? And then this game's supposed to start tonight, 7:10.
Yeah, that's ESPN game tonight, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's ESPN game.
But who knows now if this damn game goes long, if it goes in, you know what happens in these type of games. All of a sudden, then they go into extra innings. Like
I hate it because it fucks the lineups up, and just I don't know.
I got saved yesterday with the rain out because with the cancellation because I did have under 9.5 in that game, and they suspended the game at like 5-3 or 5-4, so I was going to get killed on that team. I thought Senga was going to pitch a lot better. Both teams were hitting, but then they got suspended. But today, Scherzer against Paxton. Paxton has listen, this another team that we expect that the Red Sox have been hitting the ball a little bit better and better. The Red Sox ain't totally out of it. Let's see what Paxton's been doing lately. Paxton hasn't. I had some stuff written down on him, but his last outing was at Chicago in a 10-4 loss. He only pitched 3 innings. That's right. He had 4 strikeouts. He 3 hits, 6 earned runs. So he had a terrible outing last time. Then he had a good outing against Oakland at home. Then he beat Toronto in Toronto. He hasn't pitched at home much. Last time he pitched at home was July 8th. And the time he pitched at home before that was in Colorado, June 12th. That's surprising. So of his last 6, 7 starts, he's only had 2 home starts. Interesting. Let's look at his print sheet, see where he's at. Max had a great game last time. Max has been trying to put this team on his back, but it's not really working. It really isn't. Let's see if I can find him. Here we go. Paxton's he's on 6 days rest. His last 3 outings, 16 innings pitched, 4.32 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 14 Ks, 3 homers. Scherzer, 22 Ks, 5 homers in his last 3 outings, but he went 18 innings, but gave up 4.50 ERA with a little over 1.1 WHIP. I don't know what to do with this game. I would expect I think people might be thinking less runs in this game, but I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Mets bullpen, though. What do you think?
The Mets bullpen they're not been. First of all, the
Boston's bullpen is not the best, but they're not the worst either. So I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. I know a lot of people are leaning towards the under here in this spot, but I was thinking the other way possibly. Full game.
So was I. Right now we got what kind of number is up there? It is. What the hell did I do? San Diego, New York Mets. It is a 9-5 now.
It's 9-5.
So it went up there. I haven't looked to see on my books if there's a 9 there. I'm just leaving this game alone. I don't know what.
I'm leaving it alone because of the makeup game. The continuation game. That's right.
Yeah, that makes it so much worse. I don't know what to do with this game. Next game up, I am on, and that's Philadelphia against Cleveland. I did take. I was going back and forth a little bit in this game. my boy, another pitcher I know well, Zach Wheeler. If you
Yeah.
look at his numbers, 7-0. Um, Phillies won all of those games. You can make a case how for Wheeler and the Phillies, but the way I look at this game is I see Wheeler winning. He won those games, but he didn't pitch so good in those games. And I really looked at that a lot. His last in July, he has a 5 ERA total in July. His last start in June, I remember, was against the Mets, and he went like 5 1/3. And the Mets got to him. They had like 5 earned runs. He's given up 6 or more hits in 5 of his last 6 starts. He hasn't been striking out the guys that he usually does. I mean, he does. He has been striking out his usual strikeouts, which he does a lot. He always has his strikeouts. But the Guardians are the team that don't strike out much. I kind of like the Guardians today. I like BB. I think the Guardians were a plus money. I think it's easy to go to the Phillies today because of Zach Wheeler. I don't think he's the better. He might have a little advantage as pitcher, but Guardians versus righties last 30 days, 8th in team OPS. If you're looking at the Guardians coming out of the All-Star break, they've been hitting the ball lately. They've
Yeah,
actually been hitting some, which we didn't expect from them. They have the lowest K rate in Major League Baseball in the last 30 days. 16.7%. The average is like 22%. So the whole team as an average is way above, way below the average of teams striking out in baseball. 16% is pretty low. BB's pitching well, 2.31 ERA at home. Three is last 4 starts, 3-1, 39 innings with 39 strikeouts and only 1 homer. Oh, those were his home numbers. He's 3-1 at home with a 2.31 ERA, 39 innings pitched, 39 strikeouts, and only 1 homer given up. I took the Guardians plus the money, plus 107. I took a shot with them.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I don't know if you're on this game.
I like it. I like the Cleveland's offense has been really, really well. Naylor, who's been smashing, the first baseman Josh Naylor, they said he's hitting let's see, he's batting 395, 64 for a 162 over his past 40 games, which is fucking insane.
That is.
And right now the Guardians have the best bullpen past 10 days in MLB. So if things are trending that direction, I tend to agree with you on that. Guardians, I'm a big Phillies guy, so I would lean. I actually like the over here too. So I
back the Phillies a lot, Doc. I'm with you. I like the Phillies, and I think they're still going to be a team to watch out for in the.
Well, I seen Harper play first base yesterday for the first time. They finally moved. They pulled the trigger on moving them in. I guess they're getting ready to do something. So I guess with all the, like you said, before the deadline comes, I guess they want to see what he did. Did you see the play? He ran into the net and he kind of misjudged it a little bit and
it
was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would. And this today, I like the Cleveland spot too.
Phillies lost. Hey, check this out. I forgot to mention the Phillies lost their last 3 straight, which, but Cleveland has. And we talked about Cleveland hitting the ball lately. They've scored 10 runs 3 times in their last 8 games. Yeah. And they've gone over the total in the last 5 or 6 games. Those are numbers you don't hear with Cleveland usually, right?
Yeah. I'm going to be on the over, and I'm going to be on Cleveland here.
So that's what I took Cleveland plus the 107. Tori Coker says, no runs in the – let's see, Tori, let's put you up here. No runs in the first of the Yankees games. No run in the first of the Oakland game. Tampa Bay. Atlanta Braves money line. Right. Gotcha. And you're on a 2-team parlay. Marlins -0.5. And the Cubs money line for 1. Okay, so you took the Cubs. That game I was a little bit I didn't know where to go with that game, but Tori, do you know who the Cubs are pitching after Fulmer? I have that listed kind of like a bullpen game. I don't know if you did. I was just wondering what your thoughts were. We talked about Mikolas pitching a little bit better in his last few starts, but tough game. I was leaning actually over in that game, if anything, with those 2 teams. Okay, Next up, let's see what else we have. What's up, DJ Big Boss?
Boss in the
How are you?
house. What's happening, boss?
What's happening, boss? Let's see. So that was the Philly Cleveland game. The next game on the docket is the White Sox. Our our favorite person, Avery's team, the Chicago White Sox,
Oh yeah, Dylan
against
Cease, the bulldog.
the Bulldog against the Minnesota Twins. I've heard rumblings about Cease and about their other pitcher too in Chicago that they might be Chicago might be looking to get rid of
Trade.
some of their pitchers. No, Giolito.
Oh, Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we'll see what happens. Anyhow, White Sox Twins. Right off the bat, I don't understand this number. Then the total was 8. I don't get it. It was listed at -105. I don't get it. I don't know if there's a weather issue. I see this game going well over 8. I love that over. It jumped right out me. I could be wrong. I didn't understand the line. I don't know where the line is now. I took it early this morning. But listen, the White Sox, first of all, the White Sox have been hitting a little bit. They've been playing a little bit better. They actually, the last 2 weeks, they have beat two righty pitchers. One was the Mets, one was the Braves.
Yeah.
They played well on the road. Like I said, I'm not sure why this is out. Why this is at 8. Gray, last 2 starts. One was against the Orioles. One was against the Mariners.
Shaky.
Total of the 2 games: 11 and 2/3 innings, 11 earned runs, 11 hits, 7 walks. Those walks are walks are a big thing for me.
Big time.
Walks are a big thing, and
Especially a
listen,
leadoff walk.
that doesn't bode well for the Twins. We know are a high strikeout team. We know that, but what I liked about the Twins is they did play the White Sox twice this year. The first time they played it was early April. They White Sox beat them. Cease beat them. 5 innings, 1 earned run. Then the second start was 5 innings. They bettered the Twins. They had 5 innings, 4 earned runs, and a homer against him. I kind of liked the Twins a little bit today in this, but I took the over. I just think everything I looked at, I don't know who's going to win. Like I said, the Twins do strike out a lot. They might be one of the top strikeout teams in total for the year. They have a ton of strikeouts.
Yeah. I mean, you're a little contrarian on the total because a lot of people like the under, but I like to be against the market when I'm on totals, because that usually works out. I've never.
Eight's a good number too.
Eight's a decent number, yeah, because it's right there in the middle with all the league averages. But it was like I think 72% the bets are on the under, but 80% of the money. So there's a little bit more money on the under than tickets, but it's not that the spread is not that much. So basically, you're a little contrarian on that play there, which is fine. I don't hate it. I like it actually.
So
but I know.
I took the over.
I know.
Is it still at 8?
What are you looking at now? Both sides bats every now and then, but then you got the pitchers that are willing to give it up. I might even look at you talk about the Twins striking out a lot. You might want to look at a Cease K prop here too. If you like that. Look, this might be a good opportunity to take Dylan Cease on the K. If it's like 4.5 or 5, I might be on that one. Let me look at it real quick. Well, you can start talking about the other stuff if you like. I'll look at that Dylan K prop.
Let's just see Cease's last 3. 16 innings pitched, almost a 5 ERA, 1.59 whip, 19 Ks, 1 homer. Gray, 17 innings pitched.
How many innings he logged?
Who?
How many innings did Cease log in his last 3?
His last 3, he's logged 16 innings.
And he's got 19 Ks?
19 Ks.
Yeah.
Gray logged 17 innings. He has 17 Ks.
5.5. So if it's under 5, then I'm probably gonna hit it.
Gotcha. I mean, Cease's only problem has been he's been letting his whip is a little bit high, 1.59. Yeah. That's high, but yeah, that's what I went with. But that might not be a bad look to the K prop on that game. That's for sure. The next.
Let's see. Gray's at 5.5, and Cease is. Oh yeah, Cease is way up there, 7.5.
Oh, okay.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of well.
I might have to bet the under on that one.
That's because of the Twins, right? That's because they
Yeah,
probably
because of
added
the Twins, exactly.
yeah, they probably added 1.5 to that because of the
Yeah.
Twins high ass number. But yeah, that's how that. So anyhow, I'm on the over 8 in that game. We'll see what happens. I agree with you with that K prop is a little bit high. I didn't.
Yeah, well, I'm still going to be on the over 8 in Cleveland plus 107.
Is that 107 now? Okay.
Yeah.
It started at 10. It's minus 107 or plus 107.
Plus.
Oh, okay. Because it started at see, and I took it at minus 105. So actually, money just went like you said. The money's gone towards the. Anyway, I kind of like that in a way. Next game up, Atlanta against Milwaukee. No, Atlanta had no pitcher listed, so I didn't cap this game. Adrian Hauser is pitching for Milwaukee. There's no way I could back Milwaukee in any fashion in this game. I mean, the line isn't really that bad for Atlanta right now. You have a pitcher listed at all yet?
It shows. I don't know if it's Winans.
Okay, so they might be mixing and matching in this game here.
Let me see.
Adrian Hauser is the guy I always went against when he came to bet against against the Mets. He's a guy that we've always done well against. A matter of fact, but Adrian Hauser, let's see how's he pitching lately. He won his last game 4-3 against the Reds, then lost against Chicago, beat the Mets 3-2. So he's been into some lower scoring games. I mean, he hasn't really pitched bad, but I'm off this game. I have nothing.
Yeah, I'm off of that game also.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. I know Milwaukee's won a few games out of the gate of the All-Star game. I know Milwaukee's starting to look good, and if you follow Milwaukee or listen to anything I've said over the last years, as soon as they start getting their good press, as soon as they start to be expected to win, the Milwaukee Brewers, like the Chicago White Sox, I always compare those two teams because they always seem to be the sexy pick. They always seem to be the team that every time they start doing well, they just go off the. It's amazing. They just can't sustain it, and they got a good team, the Brewers. They got good bats, but I don't know. They just never seem to put it all together. They made a good run last year, but
their bullpen's throwing really good right now too. Milwaukee.
Yep.
I think they're tops in the league.
Only 2 games left. One is Houston or Oakland, which I'm not on. Javier against Paul Blackburn. Who knows with Oakland? Oakland's another one of those weird teams. Like, they're terrible. We all know they're terrible, and they always win some games every once in a while. They go on their little 3-4 game streak, and then they go off again, losing, the next, 15
13, 12 out of 15.
Yeah. At home this year, Oakland's record overall is 27. I don't really look at records up. 27-72 is their record. Wow. And their home record, Doc, 14-37 at home.
I think the Astros has beat them like 8 in a row.
Astros on the road, 29-21. Astros on the road with the run line, 30-20 to the run line. 30-20 on the road, which and their overall. Here's a little something for Houston to keep your eye out on. Their total run line record for the year, 50-47, but their road record is 30-20. So they haven't done well at home versus the run line Astros. So something to keep in mind. But Houston starting to heat up. They got their injuries, but they seem to know how to go around it. They're a deep club.
I know I'm going to play this one.
I love their manager. I think they're one of my favorite managers is Dusty Baker. I so much wanted him to become a couple of years ago. I so much wanted him to be the Mets manager. Not that it was ever a chance, but I like Dusty. I think that was I wanted him instead of Buck, but I liked Buck also. But just because I knew the Mets needed a veteran skipper, that's for sure.
Hey Dom, I know we're not big on run line negative numbers, but
go ahead.
I think as bad as Oakland is with their runs, and I know they usually do damage. These are the
Let's see if we go to.
they like to do damage at home, against big name teams. We've seen it happen time and time again. But I think today is a different spot for Houston because they've had a little better success on the road, and like I said, they beat them like 8 times in a row. So I think they get it done here again. I was looking at the first five. I was probably gonna lay like a half a run and see what that was, but right now on the run line it's minus 118 for Houston. So I could see this being like a 5-2, 6-3 type of game possibly, and maybe still stay on. Well, 7.5 to 8 now is the under, so
Right.
it's juiced to the over at 8 and like minus 120. So
Let's see what these
Blackburn, but
teams have
I
been
like
doing.
Javier hasn't been as sharp as he's been in the past,
No.
but maybe he comes back a little bit here. Blackburn, I think they've had some success against him too. So I like the Houston spot here on the run line here. So I'm probably going to make that an official play. I'm going to lay the 118 minus 1.5.
Last 10 games for game totals. For the full game, let's see. Full against the spread, game totals last 10. These are EV analytics at home. So since the All-Star break, basically, I guess then last 10. Pittsburgh Pirates, the best over team at home. So the last 10 games. Pirates, Cubs, Padres, Yankees, Dodgers, and Brewers. And then the Cardinals. So you see some of those teams that like the Yankees and the Padres that weren't hitting the ball at all at home. They've actually the last 10 games have gone over the total a lot. They've Padres 6-2, Yankees 6-2, last 10 at home. That's interesting. I thought. But some of those things. But yeah, getting back to this game, like I remember when Houston played Oakland, and that was after Oakland, I think, beat some of the teams. They won like a couple of teams like at +2 something and whatever
Right.
it was. Remember that little stretch? And then the Astros came into town and just fucking wrecked them. I remember
Yep.
that. And then they played both series, one at home, one away. And last game on
Yeah.
the docket, and it's the last game that I have. Oh, did you put a bet in on this game?
Yeah, I took the
Houston?
Astros minus 1.5, minus 118.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could see why. What's that? Maybe that team total might even be a look. Because this freaking now this line is only 7.5. The under and over is only 7.5. Right? What is Houston's team total? Is it 5.5?
The game is at 8. Like I said, it's shaded to the over at minus 120 on 8. Let's see. The team total for Houston right now is sitting at, let's see, team props. It's actually 4.5. That's not too bad, but depending on where you get it, you're going to lay from 120 to 130.
I won't.
$4.5.
That's my max. I wouldn't take. That's another thing with team
Yeah.
totals. I don't like taking more than 120, 125.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. Like sometimes you see those team totals at like 150, 160. That's not me.
And then the A's total is 3.5 at minus anywhere from 130 to 145.
Right. Wow.
So it's shaded.
they're
heavy to
expecting
the
runs
under.
in that game. According to
Excuse me?
those team total numbers, they're expecting runs in those games.
Yeah.
In this game.
I mean, that's a ballpark. It's a West Coast ballpark, and naturally, they're good under parks. But
Yeah.
I can see.
Oakland's
I can
foul
see
lines
Houston
are
winning this game's 6-1, 5-2,
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
like that.
No, I hear you. And Oakland got those big ass foul lines, and with the bullpen still on the foul
Hold the
lines.
ball, yeah.
Crazy. It's going to be different with them playing in Las Vegas, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, they'll probably be indoors there, I imagine.
I guess they have to, right? Come on, it's 108 every day.
The heat, yeah, they have to. That
So
summer
the
stretch.
Tropicana on the Tropicana site, right, Doc?
What's that?
They're building that stadium on the Tropicana.
Yeah, where the
site.
Tropicana Casino is. Yep,
Yeah.
that's official.
I mean, how big is that stadium going to be, though? I bet it's not going to be a big stadium.
Yeah, well, it's
I
just
wouldn't
like
think it's gonna hold up.
just like Allegiant Stadium. They
Right.
have the parking thing. So they were going to do it at the Rio, but I heard the reason they did the Tropicana because they wanted it on the Strip, and then they have like the monorail that goes up
Gotcha.
and down the Strip, so it can move people up and
That's
down.
going to be exciting, man. That's exciting. Last game on the docket, and I do have a bet on this game. That's the Pittsburgh Pirates against the Angels. Boy, oh boy, the the Angels are just such a always year in and year out just a weird team, a tricky team. They'd make another team. I talk about the Mets and the Padres about underachieving. I guess you could add the Angels to that list if you think about it. I mean, they just they had the two best plays in baseball for all these years and haven't gone nowhere, right? It's just goes to show you that you need more than just a couple good bats. But anyhow, I did take, and I don't take the Angels often, but I took them today, and I took the run line. It was plus 105 when I took it. The Rangers, I like Detmers. He's pitched. You know what? He's had kind of. If you look at his log, he's had some. Put it this way: Pittsburgh's the easiest team he's pitched against in a while. I mean, that's not saying much as far as Pittsburgh because they were everybody was jumping on the bandwagon, and since everybody started jumping on the bandwagon, they took the dive. Pittsburgh, they're the worst team in baseball, worst against lefties in strikeouts, 31.7% strikeout rate versus lefties. Bro, three out of 10 guys are striking out against a pitcher like Detmers.
Left-handed pitcher, yeah.
The second highest strikeout in Major League Baseball are the Cardinals, and they're like 4%. They were 4% less. So that just goes to show you how bad, you know. And Pittsburgh against lefties last 30 days, and it's been like that all year, really, against lefties. They were hitting righties at the beginning, but
it got worse for them.
Yeah, 29th in ISO, 28th in OPS versus lefties. Beto has a 5 ERA, a 5.23 xFIP. Detmers, like I said, has pitched. He pitched against the Dodgers twice in July. He had the D-backs, who we know are good. He had the Astros, who hit lefties really well. So he has pitched against a lot better teams. And I kind of like Detmers. I think today he's going to deal. Let's see what he did. His last outing. Wow, I guess he got lucky, man. He got lucky in this win. It was versus July 15th. Now I remember because it was only last week. Against the Astros at home. 13-12 win in 10 innings. But he only pitched 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. He had 5 hits, 3 walks, 4 earned runs. So not a great outing, but I think it's a good lefty team, a hitting team like Houston. Before that, he had the Dodgers. He lost. He got beat up in that game. Then he beat the D-backs. He pitched pretty well. 9 strikeouts in 6 innings with 2 walks, 2 earned. Then he beat the White Sox 2-1. So, I mean, like I said, he's pitched against a lot better pitching. He's lost some games against some good teams, but Marlins beat him. Houston beat him early in the year. Rangers, Dodgers, he split it. Oh, no, Dodgers beat him twice. So, like I said, he's had a tough road going. I kind of like when I see a pitcher like this who maybe didn't have the greatest luck. And he's off a big win against the Astros. Maybe with some luck, but he still is off a big win against them. And I took them today, -1.5 at plus 105. I just think Pittsburgh's terrible.
Yeah, who's you got the starter for Pittsburgh? Because I get
Beto.
Who is it?
Beto.
Beto is starting.
Yeah.
Okay, because they showed a lefty, and I was going to say if that's the case, that's even better because Angels have been smashing lefties all season long. But
that's why I have listed.
Beto's no bargain for Pittsburgh either. So
no, he has a 5 ERA, and like I said, his advanced numbers are even worse. And I look at ISO a lot and OPS, and they're both at the bottom of the league in both numbers. 28th and 29th. So I'm not a Pittsburgh Pirate believer. I never was, even when they were. Yeah, I never was. They don't have the pitching either, obviously.
Now, granted,
I took a shot with the Angels. The Angels need this team. Listen, the Angels need this game. The Angels. Yeah. Here's
they still got a shot to get in.
Here's the dilemma. So that's all the games. We covered all the games. So here's the dilemma with this with the Angels. What do they do with Ohtani? if they win, okay, the October 1st, August 1st is the deadline, right? So we have another
Yep.
8 games. So they play another 6, 7 games, say. If they win all those games and then all of a sudden they're making a big run, do they try to do something with Otani? Um, if
They
they
got to
lose
try
the
to get something
next,
out of him. He's going to be gone at
like
the end of the
what
season.
do you? It's a weird dichotomy. Like, do you try to get something out of him? Do you
Yeah,
decide to
I'd
pay
say
him,
so. I
or
say
do you
so.
decide to pay him?
Yeah.
If you all of a sudden, if you're in the hunt, if you start winning, you win the next. You go on a 8 game winning streak. Do you say to yourself, "We have a shot this year. We can't let him go"? I mean, I know obviously you don't trade him, but maybe you want to keep him. So it's a weird,
Yeah.
it's a weird. And then I heard something where the uh, the Angels, the owner and the GM, they don't want to be known as the guy who traded away
Yeah.
Otani.
It's
You
the
know?
same thing with Judge when he was with the Yankees.
Yeah.
But the
So
thing is, I heard the same thing, Dommy, more or less. But I think they're just sitting on their hands, going to ride it out and see. I know their lineup is a little dinged up, and they were like on the outside, from getting in. I mean, they were doable to get in. They had an outside chance, but I don't know. I think that AL East is going to have the majority of teams as the wild card, and the Astros are probably going to take that conference, obviously. So it just
yeah.
depends. I mean, but they could be that last team in if they get a little healthier and they start winning some ball games. Then you never know.
I mean
But
that
I think he
division.
definitely stays on the West Coast. I don't think he's coming
I,
east for sure.
listen, we talked about it too. We talked about how the Dodgers freed up a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, you know, but it even
But
like
even if he
like
goes somewhere for the couple months, he's probably not going to wind up staying there unless the Dodgers work out a trade. But I don't, But I think the Dodgers are thinking free agency long term. That's what I think. So
I heard A Rod made a good point, man. If the Angels, he goes, what they should do is try to move Trout and Otani, and to help forget about this year. Think
yeah,
about you could realistically get 8 players back for those 2 guys, and 3 or 4 of those 8 players are going to be developed good plays that there's going to be, of course, 3 or 4 will probably be rookies or guys coming up,
yeah,
but you're going to get 3 or 4 solid players back, right? And you get a stable. You can really get a 8 decent guys for those 2. It's just amazing how those 2 guys could actually still be worth that. I mean,
yeah,
when we talk about the AL East, I said it before. I mean, it'll never ever happen in a million years. But a team like the Baltimore Orioles, boy oh boy, a guy like Otani, a pitcher, they need a pitcher and a big bat. It really does fit them. The Texas Rangers, the Diamondbacks. Those teams
yeah.
are teams that could really use them, and they have the pieces that they have the pieces to move to get him. But be that as it's all
Don't be
it's all just
surprised you get like a
speculation.
multi-team trade involved too. Something
You
like
just
that.
you
So
just never know. But will one team? Did they say like the Yankees would make a move for him, and then if they
yeah, the
if they
Rays.
make a big move, then maybe he'll
I
take
heard
a
the Rays are
contract.
interested in him too. They want to win the
Yeah,
championship this year. So the
they always
Rays
mention
will
the
pick him up
Rangers.
for they got the farm system. They got deep
Yes.
enough young talent. A team like that, like you said, I don't know about Baltimore, but I know the Rays would be interested in picking him up to win
No, I don't. I'm just saying that Baltimore, in my eyes, he would fit perfectly
Oh
there.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think that would. I don't think it would ever happen. I just feel like that's a team that could really use but and have the
And the
pieces.
Yankees are always the Yankees. You never
The
know what the
Yankees
fuck
always
they're
are in
gonna
the mix on everybody. Every name that's ever mentioned, the Yankees get mentioned. So who the hell knows?
You
And
never
think
know with the
about the
Yankees,
Yankees.
man.
Look at him in that lineup. Now what do you do with because you got guys like Stanton becomes like obsolete if Otani comes, especially the way he's been batting. Like
Yeah.
you gotta have to move somebody to do that to begin with. But anyhow, it'll be interesting to see what moves are made and what teams do what and who are sellers and who are not. Um, Angels are 9 games behind. That's just a tough division, that West. We talked about how bad they are, run differential wise. But LA doesn't have an easy division, man. They got the Rangers, they got the Astros, and they got Seattle. I mean, Seattle and them are
That's
neck
another
and neck.
place he might go.
What was
It
that?
makes sense for him to go to Seattle. because he lives there too.
Yep. And boy, oh boy, would that team benefit.
Ooh.
Holy God. All right, a couple little quick things and we'll get out of here. AL East versus non-AL teams. I spoke about before. 156 and 81 this year, 66%. Interleague favorites are winning at a 55% clip. Interleague road favorites. This was a good one. Interleague road favorites, because the ROI was 13%. When they're between a minus 120 and minus 150, they call that the sweet spot. For me, 150 is a little high, but they call that the sweet spot.
It's a positive return, right?
141 and 82, 64% win rate, 12%, almost 13% ROI. It's like 12.7 or some shit. Road interleague favorites, 89 and 53, 63%, 8% ROI. So those interleague favorites have been winning. Road interleague favorites have been winning. In between 120 and 150 seems to be the spot for those road interleague favorites, which we have some today, I believe. NL teams, 52% they've won over the American League and the Interleague. So they have a few games higher. They've won a few more games, the NL teams than the AL teams. Big deal. Which other one? There was just a couple more. Road favorites who made the playoffs last year. Yeah, I don't really like these ones, but road favorites who made the playoffs last year versus teams who didn't. And that number always is around that same number, 62%. Here's a one I didn't know. Total interleague plays when the number is 9 or less. The under is 88 and 73, 55%. In the interleague play, when the number is 9 or less, there's been more unders than overs. Non-division favorites off a win, 64%, 7% ROI.
What was that? 64% on what?
Non-division favorites off a win.
Oh, non-division favorites.
Yeah, that non-division favorites come up in a couple spots. And that was there was only other one. Interleague game off a win. Yeah, that's bullshit. That's some bullshit one. Both teams with a day off. When both teams have, which I've heard this a couple times over the years, when both teams have the day off, the favorite usually wins the next game. This year they're 80 and 48.
What is that? Both teams off rest?
Both teams off a 1 day rest, it said. It didn't say, I don't know if it's one team has 3 days rest, 1 day.
Yeah.
It said both teams off a 1 day rest. 80 and 48, 62% win, 6% ROI.
Who's that now? Who's getting what's the percentage? 80%.
No, 62%.
Oh, 62%.
62%.
The favorite 80, wins off of
80 and 48 with both teams off a day off of rest. The favorite has won 80 times this year, has lost 48 times.
Wow.
Yeah, 62% with a 5% ROI.
5%. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, the ROIs aren't big on a lot of these. But,
yeah, that's right.
But the one that's the highest one is the 12% one. Is the interleague road favorites between 120 and 150.
Yeah.
Oh, no, just road favorites, not even interleague. Road favorites between 120 and 150. 64%, almost 13% ROI, 147 and 82. The interleague road favorites was 89 and 53, 63%, 7% ROI. So those were the two big ones, road favorites and interleague road favorites. Something to keep our eye out for. There you go. That's
good work, Dom. Good job.
That's what I got for us today, buddy.
That's great.
We'll see what happens. Let's get some games in here today. I took the White Sox Twins over 8, minus 105. Dodgers, minus 123. Angels, minus 1.5, plus 105. Guardians, plus 107. Those are my picks.
I'm going to put one back in that I was leaning for, and then I'll put these on Twitter after. I got the Met. The Met. We talk about the Mets all day. I got the Yankee Royals game. I got Singer to get the first earned run at
Oh, I love
minus
that.
115. Then I went back to that Marlins and Rockies game because I was talking about how I liked the way the Rockies were hitting, and we know the
Yes.
Marlins can be shaky, but they're better at home and whatnot. But anyways, I think both teams will give up runs here. I think the offenses will come into play. I like the over 8.5 in that game. And then I'm on the Texas LA Dodgers first five under 4.5 at even money, and I'm on the Cleveland game. I got two plays there. I got the over 8 at I don't know what the juice was. I gotta go back and find out. I'll put it on Twitter. But then I got Cleveland. The lines went up a little bit. I got plus 107 on Cleveland. Then I got Houston on the run line at Oakland at minus 118. And I'll put those plays out on Twitter.
Yeah, I got Cleveland at 107 also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. The one thing I'm going to look at when I get like we talked about how some of these books have different plays. Bet Online, no, Bet US has they have there's a one thing I play. I've been playing more and more lately is a number of outs for a pitcher. It's
Yeah.
usually like 16 and a half or 15 and a half or 17 and a half. Cole might go deep today. I was thinking.
Yeah.
The other
So
thing they have
if you
is
get six, that's 18.
they have the double result, which a lot of times is better than betting. Like if you bet the first five and the full game, say you bet the Yankees first five and the full game, you're going to get a better number if you play a double result. It's kind of like a parlay, but the
Right.
numbers have been pretty good, So that's something.
So how do you couple those up? You take the outs with what?
You take they're just separate bets. One is double result, the first five in the full game, but
Okay.
the
Oh, I
odds are
got
better
you.
than just taking it separate. And then the other one is the number of outs for the pitcher,
Right.
which a lot of times sometimes the numbers that you can't play because the juice is too high. But
Yeah.
I've done well with some of those. You figure if 16 and they have it marked as a hat, which screws you up because if you don't think about it, like they'll have 16 and a half outs, right? Which is 6 full innings is 18 outs, right?
Yeah.
So
Correct.
you got to still get 2 out. Even though they say it's a half, it's more than that because you still got to get 2 out of the 3 guys out in the inning, right, to hit the 17 outs. So for you to get 17 outs, you got to do what? You got to hit. You got to go through the 5 full innings. That's 15.
Yeah.
And then you got to get at least 2 out of the 3. Two out of 3 batters.
In the next inning.
Right. So it's not really a half. It's 2/3.
Right.
It's kind of, I'm just saying as far as, numbers are concerned, sometimes,
Oh, trust me, that 1/3 means a lot.
and that's how they get you.
That's worse than the hook in football.
They build, that's where they want to get you on, right?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
kind of, those numbers. Listen,
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys out there that do what we do that just strictly, that's how they bet. They look for those market inefficiencies. They got
Yeah.
the programs to pull that shit out. They got those mathematical minds, and they pull out those numbers and those market inefficiencies, and they got a big enough bankroll where they keep to their process.
Yeah, they're looking
at
at
the
that
end of the
ROI,
year.
like
They're
you
going to
said.
be up. Yes.
5%, 7%,
That's right.
whatever.
That's right.
Big,
So there you go.
when you have big numbers, volume going through there, that pays over the long haul.
Yep. Listen, it's like in the gas station, that guy gets a half a cent more per gallon. That's a lot of money. You don't realize it, right? So anyhow, let us get out of
That's
here.
why the juice is important, man. It's the biggest thing, in our business.
Now check this out. Now that just before we leave, the Brady Singer total number of outs they have listed at 17 and a half. They feel that they're going to keep him in that long.
Yeah,
Like the
I
Yankees.
guess so. Well, I'd say that those last two out of 3 starts against those good teams, so they're thinking the Yankees are not going to hit them possibly.
I mean, so they're saying he's going to go at least 6 2/3.
Yeah.
Singer. So the over is minus 120. The under is minus 110. What I wanted to see was what was Cole. Okay,
Coles would probably get six
over,
innings.
Yeah, the over under is 18 and a half outs.
Yeah, see right there.
So,
right.
so they want him to go 7 2/3.
7 2/3 of cash, right?
7 2/3 to cash the over at minus 115. So there's no money in that.
Yeah.
So, And
They
I got
force your
seven and a
hand
half
that way.
strikeouts. Here's one for you. Brady Singer, but it's minus 140, but Brady Singer over 2.5 earned runs.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that,
hoping
that
he
means
gives up one like real early.
that means the Yankees, the Yankees are going to get over, get three. And look
Against
at this
him.
one, Garrett Cole over 1.5 earned runs, minus 180.
Yeah,
Wow, it
yeah,
almost makes you want to take the under plus
yeah. Well,
140.
like I say, the under 7.5, right? So I mean, the
Yep,
total 7.5. So they're kind of
yep.
that's why them
Wow.
high. You got them high out log numbers. They're thinking
Yes.
both these guys are going to go deep. 7 innings apiece, roughly.
And our boy Torrey Coker has no runs in the first inning for the Yankees, and no runs in the first inning for the Oakland game and Tampa Bay. He likes those no runs
Good
in the first
Murphy.
innings. Yeah, yeah. All right, let us get out of here. Thanks for coming in, Doc.
Hey, my
We
pleasure
will
always, guys.
we'll be back
Appreciate
again
it.
on Thursday, and I guess Tuesday night the boys have been back on doing the live sweat.
Yeah, I went
I
on
had
with them this
internet
week.
problems last Tuesday. I know you were on with them. You guys were doing baseball and WNBA and whatever the hell
Horse
else was
racing.
on. Horse racing. So you guys had a lot of fun, I heard.
Yeah, we did.
So we'll try to. Our boy Ix Snizzle has been running that live sweat
Doing a
and
good
been
job
doing a
with it.
good job on a Tuesday night. We got Teast is in WNBA form. When there's a game, he'll be on any WNBA game on, even if it's one or two. He's on at 3:45 in the afternoon, capping those WNBA games and capping them well. That's for sure. And we'll be doing our thing. Everything is coming up, football,
Yeah,
blah blah
yeah.
blah.
Yeah,
Before we
Boston
know it,
starts
it'll
right around the
be
corner.
before we know it, we'll be talking about mid-season
Super Bowl.
NFL. We'll be talking about college basketball. Shit, time just goes too quick, man. But
does.
that's the way it goes, man. Our parents were right.
It's fun though. It's fun doing what we do.
I love doing this. I love doing this. So
We could be
we'll
here all
just keep at
friggin'
it.
day.
That's it. I hear you. All right, man. Let's get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, and we will see you again on Thursday, 10 a.m.
Yeah.